When we invest our money in a company, two factors are very important: profit and growth. If a company is profitable and growing at a good rate, then it will create wealth for the investors. And when we talk about profits, one sector that is highly profitable is the banking sector. The business model of a bank is very simple. Take money from depositor at low interest rate and give it to borrower at high interest rate. Needless to say, banks are the backbone of an economy. You need bank for every transaction, be it a loan for your house, car, education, etc., or simply borrowing money to invest in the business. At the same time, you need a bank to deposit your money. If you look at the financial system in India, it consists of central bank, that is the Reserve Bank of India, commercial bank, cooperative bank, small finance bank, payment banks, and other financial institutions like NBFCs. Now, commercial banks again have public and private bank. For example, SBI is a public bank. HDFC, ICICI, Axis, etc. are private commercial bank. Payment banks include your Paytm, Jio Payment Bank, Airtel Payment Bank, etc. Friends, it is not easy to get a license for a commercial private bank in India. Currently, there are around 21 private commercial banks in India. Last time RBI gave license for commercial bank was in 2015, when Bandhan Bank and IDFC Bank were shortlisted from many applications. And in this video, we will discuss in depth about the IDFC First Bank to understand if IDFC First Bank can create wealth for its investors like HDFC Bank and ICICI Bank has done it in the past. Hello friends, my name is Sahil and this is my Personal Finance Academy where I explain everything about money management in layman's language. Before we proceed, I want to update that many of you requested part 2 of the US stock investment video. So I will make another video that will be live by this Friday where we will discuss the step-by-step process to invest in the US market directly. So stay tuned. Since IDFC Bank received the banking license in 2015, it has been a bumpy ride for the bank. Its share price fell down from the highs of rupees 80 in September 16 to levels of rupees 18 in March 20. That's a fall of 77% in 3 to 4 years. But since the low of 18, bank share has jumped to the levels of rupees 70 in the next 1 year, giving 277% return. But it again corrected from the levels of rupees 70 and currently IDFC First is trading at a level of rupees 50. So as an investor, should you consider investing in IDFC Bank or not? To answer this question, let's investigate the company. We will first start with understanding more about the company and its management, competitive strength, key risk and future growth prospect, and the financials to understand if IDFC First is a fundamentally strong company or not. Finally, we will do the valuation analysis of IDFC First and then conclude if IDFC First is currently trading at right valuation or not. Alright, let's get started. Now, before we even discuss about IDFC First, it is important to know how IDFC First was established. In 2015, IDFC Limited was demerged to create IDFC Bank. So IDFC Limited was set up in 1997 to finance the infrastructure in the country. But then it demerged its banking business and IDFC Bank was set up that received the banking license from RBI. At that time, IDFC Bank was looking to diversify its loan book into corporate and retail banking. Hence, in 2018, IDFC Bank merged with Capital First to form IDFC First Bank. Capital First was an NBFC company that was doing exceptionally well under the leadership of Mr. Vaidyanathan. Capital First profit grew 5.5 times in 5 years from rupees 3,500 crore during 2014-18. If you look at the business before merger, IDFC Bank had 74% business in wholesale banking and only 15% in retail. But Capital First had 91% business from retail division. Hence, it made sense for IDFC Bank to merge with Capital First to diversify in retail business. So that's how IDFC First was formed. After the merger, Vaidyanathan was given the responsibility to lead IDFC First and he became the CEO of the company. If you look at the business of IDFC First, it offers a wide bouquet of loan portfolio across retail, consumer and MSME, that is micro, small and medium enterprise, including home loan, vehicle loan, consumer durable loan, personal loan, small business loan, micro enterprise loan and so on. Apart from these products, IDFC First Bank also offers working capital loan, corporate loan for business banking and corporate customers in India. It also provides a range of products and services including insurance, wealth management, forex services and so on. If you look at the branch network, IDFC First is continuously expanding its reach all over the country. Its branch network has grown from 150 on March 18 to 576 by December 20. Its ATM network has grown from 55 to 541 in last 2.5 years. IDFC First had a clear focus on customer first and its products are focused towards customer delight. If you look at the management of IDFC First Bank, Mr. V. Vaidyanathan, who is the CEO and MD of IDFC First, has over 28 years of experience in financial sector and he is the man behind the extraordinary journey of Capital First. Before this, Mr. Vaidyanathan had worked with Citibank during 90s. He had set up the ICICI Group retail banking between 2000 to 2009 and was the MD and CEO of ICICI Prudential during 2009 and 10. So he has a rich experience of almost 3 decades in Indian banking sector along with an exceptional track record. Mr. Sudhanshu Jain is the CFO of IDFC First Bank and has 17 plus years of experience. Before this, he worked as the Deputy CFO of Paytm and CFO of Paytm Payment Banks. Mr. Madhivanan Balakrishnan is the CEO of the bank who has 27 plus years of experience and before joining IDFC First, he worked as CTO of ICICI Bank. So IDFC First has a top-notch leadership with a lot of experience in the financial domain in the best of best companies. Overall, on the company and its leadership, I would rate it 10 on 10. The first strength of IDFC First is experienced management. IDFC First has a top-class team of management that is the key driver for the growth of company. Being led by Mr. Vaidyanathan, IDFC First Bank leadership has a required knowledge and skill to set a solid foundation for the bank in its journey towards sustainable growth. Next strength is digital focused. Digital is the need of the hour. The advantage with a new bank like IDFC First is that it is building a very robust digital infrastructure to manage the digital banking for the future. This would give IDFC First a strong edge over the banks that are still not up to mark with digital capabilities. Bank is already focusing on retail segment to grow sustainably and there is strong focus on governance to ensure complete focus on the customers and provide the best-in-class services. If you look at the competitors of IDFC First, there is strong competition to IDFC First from giants like HDFC Bank, ICICI Bank, Kotak Mahindra, Axis Bank along with PSU banks like SBI. These are the banks with proven track record and high trust factor. IDFC First would need to build the same trust with their customer. Overall, on competitive strength, I would rate it 8 on 10. First risk is high allocation of wholesale business. While wholesale or corporate banking is great for growth, the problem is over-reliance on few big players. Hence, there is always a risk of default from corporates that can impact the profitability of the company. To solve this problem, IDFC First is reducing its wholesale business and increasing its retail business. For example, its retail deposit has increased from Rs 5,700 crore to Rs 58,400 crore. That's an amazing growth. At the same time, its wholesale deposit have reduced from 22,700 crore to 18,900 crore. If you look at the loan book, its retail loan book has increased from Rs 7,000 crore to Rs 66,700 crore within just 2.75 years. Friends, this is an exceptional growth, simply brilliant. And its wholesale loan book has reduced from 32,200 crore to 23,200 crore by December 20. Its infrastructure loan assets have reduced from Rs 26,800 crore to 11,600 crore. Overall, IDFC First Bank has reduced its business risk by diversifying from wholesale to retail business, where retail business is growing at a very good rate, and its contribution has increased from 10% to 60% within 2.75 years. Next risk is concentration risk, where a few customer contributes the majority of business. The problem is that if the top customer default, it will badly impact bank's performance. Hence, IDFC First has reduced the contribution of top 20 depositor from 42% to 9.7%, which is brilliant. Top 10 borrower contributed 18.8% of total borrowing in March 18, and that is now reduced to 6.3%. Next risk is competition from digital companies or fintech companies. Friends, it is the era of payment bank and UPI payments, where many new fintech companies are posing threat to the traditional banking model. The only way to compete is via technology. To reduce this risk, IDFC First is investing heavily in building a robust digital infrastructure for the future. IDFC First has recently launched a new banking application with enhanced user experience. And the final risk is NPA. The entire strategy of the bank to diversify into retail business so that it would reduce the NPA risk as compared to the wholesale business. However, due to COVID, there is again a risk of NPA, and it would be interesting to see how the bank manages the NPA. Bank is already taking due diligence while disbursing the loans and has a robust underwriting process and strong monitoring framework to take care of NPA. IDFC First has also diversified into the credit card business and recently launched its lifetime free credit cards. Friends, the banking system in India is still very small as compared to developed nations like US. Our growth journey has just started, and banks would play a crucial role. As the economy grows, the bank would grow, and it would be a very exciting journey for IDFC First. Hence, on growth prospect, I would rate it 10 on 10. If you look at the profitability of the bank, the profits stand continuously, and bank was in loss till Q3 of FY20. But then bank has become profitable consistently for 4 quarters, and latest profit for Q3 of FY21 are 130 crore. The reason for loss was due to provisions against the wholesale account such as housing finance, a financial conglomerate, etc. after the merger. So the bank was in the stage of cleaning up its balance sheet. On top of this, it was a rough period for the financial system in India due to multiple failures of big financial conglomerates. But the silver lining is that last 4 quarters are consistently profitable. Hence, on profit, I would rate it 9 on 10. If you look at the net interest margin, which is again a key parameter for bank, it is consistently increasing, which is a great sign of recovery. The latest net interest margin stood at 4.6% for initial 9 months of FY21. Hence, on net interest margin, I would rate it 10 on 10. If you look at the CASA ratio, that indicates the ratio of current and saving account. It is consistently increasing, which is a great sign. Currently, the CASA ratio stood at 48.3%, which is very good. Hence, on CASA ratio, I would rate it 10 on 10. If you look at the NPA of the bank, which is a very important parameter, the gross NPA was below 3% till December 19. But due to COVID, it has increased to 4.18% in December 20. The net NPA was reasonable in the range of 1.27% to 1.3%, but due to COVID, it has increased to 2.04%. Even the provisional coverage ratio was increasing, but it slightly fell down due to COVID. Bank's NPA was looking under control, but it has increased due to COVID, which is a bit of concern. Hopefully, as the situation normalizes, the NPA would normalize. But as of today, on NPA, I would rate it 6 on 10. If you look at the capital adequacy ratio, that indicates the liquidity of the bank. It is well above regulatory requirement of 10.87% and 7.37% consistently. Hence, on capital adequacy, I would rate it 10 on 10. Now that we have covered the fundamentals of the company, its competitive strength, key risk, and future growth along with financials, let's understand the valuation of the company. So IDFC First share price has tanked from rupees 80 to the levels of rupees 18 in the last few years. This was mainly due to the cleanup and balance sheet after the merger. On top of that, the COVID worsened the situation and the entire market tanked that impacted the share price. However, since then, the share price has recovered to the level of 70 within a year. But again, due to COVID, the share price has fallen recently to the level of 50. I think it is a great opportunity to invest in this company at current level. If the share fall, it creates even more opportunity to invest. IDFC First is in good hands with strong leadership, and I believe that it can be a turnaround story for IDFC First. Although I could be wrong. So please do not blindly invest based on my analysis. Please learn how to pick quality stocks. And in case you want to learn all the ratios in banking, including CASA, NPA, NIM, etc., you can explore my course on money management that covers complete stock market, mutual fund, etc. Just to conclude, is IDFC First fundamentally strong company? The answer is yes. Is the future of IDFC First bright? The answer is yes. Are the financials of bank improving? The answer is yes. The stock available at decent valuation? The answer is yes. And is this a promotional video? The answer is no. This is a genuine video. I already included IDFC First in my list of top 10 small cap superstar earlier. So I hope you will find this video useful and share it with your friends and family. I will see you with another video. Till then, take care.